Brian starts laughing and says, "Is that the best offer you got, Mom?" This is the lose-lose situation if you ask me. If Melissa does decide to testify, Tamar will be set free. Are we supposed to believe that you and Tamar won't try to murder me again? I let that bitch off easy last time. Next time I won't be so nice. On the flip side, if Melissa doesn't testify, you'll probably send someone to kill us anyway. You technically have no trading pieces and aren't in a position to bargain. Legally, if the DNA test comes back and I'm the father, you got to give up Tamara. Regardless, I'll take my chances with the DNA test. Kathy starts laughing and says, "You look just like your father when you said that you know what happens when somebody fucks with me." Brian, this situation can get real ugly fast. Brian, I'm giving you one last chance to accept this offer. You know what happened to your father. I look at Brian and realize that he lied to me again. I then look at Kathy and say, "Wait a minute, is Brian's father is still alive? He told me that his father died in prison before he was born." Kathy looks at Brian and laughs. "Prison? That fool never spent a day in prison. Brian's father was a drunk and a woman beater. He would get sloppy drunk and put his hands on me, but one day I snapped out. That man beat me to a pulp multiple times in front of Brian. I called the police, but they never did anything about the situation. I eventually got tired of him and I stabbed him with a butcher knife 12 times. I chopped his body up into small pieces and stuffed his remains in a garbage bag. That's the price you pay when you cross me. I get my revenge through blood and pain. Brian helped me cover up the entire thing." I'm still pissed at Brian for finding out that he lied to me once again. Since Brian didn't tell me the truth about his father, I've decided not to testify against Tamar in court. Hopefully I can get full custody of Tamara. I say, "Kathy, I'm willing to accept this deal, but I want some type of collateral. I don't trust you, Kathy." Brian looks at me and says, "What the fuck are you doing, Melissa? Don't take this deal with my mother. I know for a fact that Tamar is going to try and kill us when she's released. If that happens, my mother is killing two birds with one stone. She'll automatically get custody of Tamara that way. Don't fucking do it, Melissa. I know my mother better than you!" Melissa looks at me and says, "Fuck you, Brian. I can do whatever I want. You technically don't have a say in this until the DNA test comes back." Brian shakes his head and says, "Yo mouth just wrote a check that yo ass can't cash, Melissa. You don't know what you just did." I say, "I'm saving my niece, Brian." I look at Kathy and say, "Do we have a deal?" Kathy gives me this weird grin and says, "Of course. To be continued."